Good evening, it's 9 o'clock. Welcome to this English news. Today's at headlines we have the head of state and head of the government has chaired the 90th session of the Council of Ministers at the Presidential Palace. Latest news on Djiboutian pilgrims at the Arafat Mountain.
These were the headlines. Welcome to this edition. Under the chairmanship of the head of state and chief of the government, Ismail Omar Guelleh, took place this morning the 90th meeting of the Ministers' Council at the Presidential Palace. Several bills were considered and adopted, including the one on the enhancement of the national education staff. Let's listen to the spokesman of the government and the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mohamed Ali Yusuf.
Under the leadership of His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, the Ministry Councils was at his 9th meeting today. 6 questions were at the forefront of these discussions. The first is a project order on the geographical system and information of the Republic of Djibouti. This is a geographical tool with a database for the territory management with the latest innovation of informatics invention and localization. This system is commonly used today. It's an important tool for the network management when it comes to electricity, water supply, and telecommunication for a better urban planification. The use of this cartographic support who integrate all the informations as for the network localization for every institutional actor concerned by the management of the city is the token of a better urban planification. A system of information has been developed by the Ministry of Equipment and Transport in collaboration with the Japanese corporation. This system is ready to be used. This project law is endorsing a setting for the guideline of this system for all the institutional actors of the country. The second question is about a law project number 2012-21 PR MIFIP regarding the compensation for the housing administrative and the cash advantages for the different managers of the Ministry of Education for the betterment of the school system. This project law is engraved in this optic. It is a motivation for the workers of the Ministry of Education. These advantages are for the responsible chief who are the protectors of their establishment.
During this session, several persons have been appointed to the responsibility of public administration. The report of the Minister of Foreign Affairs.
The third question concerned a law project, the nomination of the General Director of the Superior Institute of Health and Sciences. Mrs. Nadira Abdullah Yahya has the necessary skills to be nominated Director of the Superior Institute for Health and Sciences. The fourth question is about the nomination of a technical advisor for the Ministry of Health. Mr. Abdullah Yassin Jama, a highly skilled technician in public health, has been nominated as technical advisor for the Ministry of Health. The fifth questions concern a project order of a technical advisor for the Ministry of Economy in charge of finances and the industry. Mr. Abdurazak Ahmed Yassin, a civil administrator, is nominated as a technical advisor for the Ministry of Economy in charge of finances and the industry. The sixth question is about the nomination of a technical advisor in charge of the communication and the promotion of entrepreneurship for the Secretary of State for Youth. Mrs. Medina Saleh Ali, a civil administrator, is nominated as a technical advisor for the Secretary of State for Youth.
The Prime Minister Abdulkader Kamal Mohammed has received today for a courtesy visit the new Thailandese ambassador in Djibouti, Mr. Assajog Shakavaring. The meeting took place in the VIP lounge of the Prime Minister office within the presence of the Secretary General of the Prime Minister, Nagib Abdullah Kamil. The Prime Minister has wished a warm welcome to the new diplomat from Thailand in the country. This visit was an opportunity for the Prime Minister to recall that Thailand is one of the leading producer and exporters of rice in the world, and Djibouti has a partnership agreement on the price of rice with it. He hoped to further strengthen bilateral cooperation with the Kingdom of Thailand in various fields, including agriculture, service, tourism, and education, which Thailand has an expertise and experience. He expressed his wishes of a real cooperation with the Asian countries and for a fruitful economic link between Djibouti and Africa in general. It has a large potential market for the economy's business development. For his part, the new diplomat has shown a keen interest in strengthening bilateral cooperation between the two countries and expressed his willingness to assist the Republic of Djibouti in the important and strategic area of development. The encounter has ended with an exchange of gifts.
Concerning as part of the school year 2015-2016, the Minister of National Education, Dr. Jama Al-Mawki, has given this morning the kickoff of operating hardboard distribution and maintenance materials for hygiene for the schools. This is a large batch composed of thousands of boxes of paper, chalks, and photocopying and other hygiene equipment to be distributed to the schools in the country. This is a substantial effort made by the highest authorities of the country to ease the financial burden on levels of schools in the country. The Minister of National Education, Dr. Jami Al-Mulki, has made a supervision tour to check the quality and quantity of school supplies to be distributed. The minister in his delegation said they were delighted with the excellent quality of these materials. This will contribute to the improvement of labor and the betterment of the children's education. The minister and his collaborators symbolically handed over the first batch of school materials and supplies to some school principals, and school leaders have attended the ceremony.
After the material distribution, the Minister of Education and Professional Training has officially launched this morning at the Kripen office the operation of distribution school textbooks. This operation began today in all the school institutions of the capital and will continue in all interior regions. This was possible thanks to the expertise and professional skills material editing cleverly developed by the Kripen for 2 decades. Let's recall that this year, all the textbooks of high school exam class, the last terminal, were made available for this year. Finally, the minister did not fail to thank the editorial policy. This production of Kripen manual is a valuable contribution to the economic and social development. The country is saving a lot of money that will have cost if the textbook were ordered abroad.
A strong delegation led by the Secretary of State for National Solidarity, Mrs. Zara Yusuf Kayat, composed of the project manager of the National Union of Djiboutian Women known as UFD, the MP members of the Joras region, a representative of the Prime Minister, and the officials of her department have visited the Joras region to sensitize civil society, community leaders, and of decentralized services heads on the implementation of National Family Solidarity Program. The report on this subject.
national solidarity was warmly welcomed by the prefect of the Tajura region, Abdul Malik Mohammed Banuta, the president of the regional council, community leaders, as well as the residents of Tajura, where they participate in an awareness and information session on the National Family Solidarity Program. The Secretary of State has presented the objectives and implementation modalities of the national program entitled the Family Solidarity PNSF. She emphasized that this program, called the National Program Family Solidarity, is intended to improve the living condition of extreme poor households in order to contribute to the strengthening of human capital and ultimately breaking the cycle of intergenerational transmission of poverty. The PNSF aims to distribute a cash transfer, and in exchange, the beneficiaries are required to participate in the supporting measures. This is a vector of income and resource redistribution to the most people in need. Still on the social issues, the delegation led by the Secretary of State for National Solidarity, Zahra Yusuf Qayyad, has set up the first working meeting of the Regional Committee of PNSF in Tajura region. The purpose of this regional meeting was focused on the presentation of the National Family Solidarity Program, the role and responsibility of the PNSF Regional Committee, and finally the process of targeting beneficiaries for this program. It was also intended to form a regional committee coordinating the body of this National Solidarity Program, monitoring activities in this region. The prefect of Tajura, the coordinator of project of UNFD, members of the region and other prominent personalities have attended this first meeting of the regional committee. Finally, Zahra Yusuf Qayyad and her delegation took the opportunity to visit the work of ADDS and the future UNFD antenna in the Tajura's region.
The pilgrims have started early this morning the movement toward Muna, which is the first stage of the Hajj ritual. On board of a dozen of buses which made two rotations between Mecca and Muna, 880 Djiboutian pilgrims have arrived in Muna safely. During the day, they will be housed in tents until the displacement to Arafat, where they will finish the final stage of Hajj. It's about a strong engagement on the Arafat mountain, with the participation of 1 million of Muslim pilgrims came from all around the world.
As the Eid is approaching, a park to sell livestock have been implemented. Let's listen to Mohammed Hassan.
As many as 2 million heads of cattle arrive in the park. Much of this comes from the livestock of the region. There is in this park, the negotiators, the merchants come to sell their livestock. Sometimes negotiations looks very rough between the broker and customers come to buy the sheep of the Eid. They are in the process of negotiating. In fact, the approach of the Eid, the price of a sheep amounted to nearly 15,000 francs. It's particularly annoying that this customer. It's really impossible that we throw buy sheep this year that price. The price is very expensive. We cannot buy it. To 15,000 francs, sheep head are madness. For its part, the broker says it's a reasonable price for the current situation. There are no herds. They have all been decimated by drought. The stockyard created in 18th is the only point of sale authorized by the prefecture of Djibouti city and preserve the hygiene and cleanliness of the capital. Cattle in this park, a veterinarian is actually made available by the national company responsible for the management of this park, namely Company Investment Solidaire. Our job is to protect the Djiboutian population to consume healthy meat. We analyze all the cattle there here, and if they take a 6 sheep head, we discard the sale. Whatever the price of a sheep's head, one thing is sure. The people of Djibouti will have to move here in Barbara Cattle Park to procure, and the prefectural authority ban control sale on vacant lots across the city of Djibouti under penalty of seizure of slaughtering animals.
Let's not forget about the Ship of Aid. Abu Yasser company has moved a batch of livestock to Balbala stockyard, and the selling price are stabilized to the tune of 10,000 Djibouti francs. Sports news. The Djiboutian Kung Fu Wushu Federation has launched officially yesterday his sporting season inside the Hassan Guled Stadium with a mass training program. At this purpose, over 150 athletes took part yesterday at the Hassan Guled Stadium, the launch of the sports season in Kung Fu Wushu. It was marked by a mass of technical training with lessons of the Djiboutian expert Muhammad Ali Umar. The Kung Fu Wushu season opening ceremony was attended by the Federation President as well as member of the steering committee. Speaking on this occasion, the President of Djiboutian Kung Fu Wushu Federation has welcomed the positive outcome of the Federation realized the season passed by leaders and athletes. He also announced during this evening that the Federation would develop new prospects and many opportunities to build the capacity of instructor and athlete. He has highlighted the performance of athletes, and the President has been very involved to the participation of athletes to regional and global competition. This official intervention of a member was followed by a collective training program. At last, the evening was finished by demonstration fight. Recall that the Djiboutian Kung Fu Wushu Federation has existed for some time, has branched in all regions of the country and many clubs in the capital.
We are stunned about the latest death of a prominent person in the education field, Dawood Alwan, a respected and dedicated man among his peers and his entourage. He was a dedicated person through his work. He was born in Tijara in 1942. He then later became teacher, and thereafter he had been nominated as the headmaster of Tijara School. After a noble career in education, he became the first regional council of the White City from 2006 to 2011. At his death, the Minister of the Promotion of Women in charge of the family planning in relation with the Parliament, Mrs. Hasna Berqadaoud, the Prefect of Tijara, Mr. Abdul Malik Mohammed Bonita, the President of the Regional Council, Mr. Hassan Hussein Hassan Miguel Dagi Village, Chief Village in Obok Region, the Prefect of Obok, Hassan Tabel Ahmed, President of the Regional Council in Obok, Kamil Muhammad Ahmed, took part of funeral. May God grant him his paradise.
The Djiboutian has got a new president. An election has been organized between the candidates Mr. Abdullah El-Moukiyi and Mr. Omar Gedi Doudoub. Abdullah El-Moukiyi was elected at the head of Djiboutian Bas Union after the new union chairman election organization held between Abdullah El-Moukiyi, who was elected as union president. In fact, the new president has obtained 96 votes against 42 voices. The new president of the union, Abdullah El-Moukiyi, has undergone a visit this morning at the Mahmoud Harbi place to have information about the Bas situation. The new union president has urged the Bas leaders to take their responsibilities and ensure the population safety. He has finally pointed out that starting from now, all necessary dispositions will be taken to improve the Bas drivers' working conditions.
And now on the regional and international level, Somalia car bomb killed 7 near presidential palace. 7 people were killed and at least 10 wounded yesterday when a car bomb exploded